Wouldn't corporate America just be slightly better if it was just a constant gladiator combat?
It's time for your quarterly review.
All right.
Those are supposed to be better dice rolling sounds.
Yeah,
That's
some good dice
Let's
rolling
take
sounds.
that again. It's time for your quarterly review.
Oh,
That's pretty good.
that was some chunky dicey roll. All right. I'm starting the timer. Philip is playing with the thing.
Never mind that.
Maybe use more nouns in that sentence next time.
Philip is playing with the box that records our voices.
Much better.
The magic sound box.
The magic sound box that I don't quite understand.
Hey,
Oh,
don't
hell.
pay attention to me, the magic sound box. I'm just over here. I remember everything you say.
And welcome back to the 7th Star to the Right podcast.
Hi, Jeff.
This is this is session 20. We've gotten into the double digits. That's not really true.
That's not a double.
That's double. It's
just
just
a
20. Anyway, things happened last time. What were those things, friends?
I sat in a car. It was
Oh,
great.
You sure did.
I did so hard. Oh, so much support.
The perfect heist, I think.
I heisted, and Zuri was there too.
And we also got
Actually,
drugs,
Zuri was
I think.
extremely helpful. What am I talking about? We could
kinda
not have done
dragged
it.
us through that.
I was there.
Yeah, Micah was there. Zuri was kind of the one doing all of the work.
Yeah. Oh, right. And then they were stupid at the end.
We kind of peer pressured them into that, though. Just a
I'm
little
upset.
bit.
Micah's upset that
upset.
that Zuri decided to torch themselves in order to get
That's it.
with that final
Burn
jump.
out.
I mean, to be fair, it's hard to just take a lunch break when you're, like, hey, I'm going to go out for lunch. And then we'll be like, okay.
I'm
Nope,
going to wait for a
sometimes-
scene to pass in order for me to recover my spent effort.
No, sometimes you just have to torture yourself. And that's
That's right.
a gig economy.
Yes, but and this was even after they took the brainwave that you guys were the street brainwave that you guys were able to find.
Drugs solve most things, but they couldn't quite solve this.
Yeah, I mean they would have been in a lot worse shape had they hadn't taken the brainwave, because the brainwave effectively gave them an extra 2 effort. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I can think of that was major that happened. You spent an extra 1,000 credits from to the Sharp Claws in order to also get the uniforms and the
Rental
van,
car.
The U-Haul.
the U-Haul,
Space U-Haul.
the space U-Haul.
They have to give back, right?
You do have to give it back. It is a
Are we
rental.
Sure.
Just drive off into the sunset with my space U-Haul.
I'm keeping the keys.
Make copies.
Yeah, and you met with the dirty cops who were able to get you in, and things were going fine. You just sort of walked in. A couple people were like, "Hey, haven't seen you around," and you sort of like, "It's all right. It's all right. Don't worry about it. Don't look at this."
That's not a response. That's not a thing you say.
And then you just kept going, and they're like, "All right, I guess they know where they're going."
And then Micah went, and it was fun.
And
I
those
will
finger
say,
guns.
I did really like the part where Micah levitated drugs into that one woman.
That is
That
true,
was
yeah.
pretty
That
clutch.
happened, yeah.
Telepathically,
Yeah.
tell it to something.
Telekinetically, usually, isn't
Telekinetically.
it?
Yeah, that's what I
Kinetic
meant.
moving.
Yeah, that's
Telephone.
telephone.
Ring, ring,
Telephonally.
I would like to call the drugs.
Telekinetic. Dooba-dooba-dooba-doo.
Can I use a lifeline?
Telekinetically administered hush to the doctor.
The sole person in the room, so no one knows. It's the perfect crime.
Absolutely.
Oh, maybe the janitor knows.
Maybe the janitor
And
knows.
maybe we left janitorial supplies in the room.
I mean, that's fair. And then they'll be like, gosh, darn it, those 2 janitors. And then they still won't really know who you are.
Those phantom janitors.
Especially because you went in as janitors, and a lot of people are like, ignore people who are cleaning. It's like a ghost.
So we ended last session with Everyone sans Claire and Alix are now in the van, ready to drive away from the police station. And everything went smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to, obviously, we already mentioned this, but Zuri explicitly torched.
Mm-hmm.
And to go a little bit into what that means mechanically, I think we may have said it, but I can't remember if it was on or off air.
Cover briefly.
But torching effectively is when psychics push past that artificial limit that they have for themselves and allow that metadimensional energy to continue flowing through them, even though that there's only so much that the human body can actually physically take. And there are permanent repercussions for torching, but obviously sometimes it might be necessary in order to get out of a bad situation. The mechanically speaking, I think you roll a d6, and I think there's a range of rolls, but effectively it affects your wisdom or your constitution. It lowers that attribute permanently, and I think if you hit a certain lower threshold on some of these different attributes, you are lost outright. So I think if with constitution, if it goes below a 3 or something, you just die. And if the wisdom goes below 3, you don't die, but you go irrevocably insane.
Fun.
Yeah, there is such a thing as psychics who have torched too much, and either they will die or they will turn into feral psychics, which are extremely dangerous humanoids. It's kind of hard to describe them as humans anymore because they've effectively lost who they were. And Zuri took one step into this in order to save their friends. So, you guys are in the car, but I don't want to start there.
Oh, okay.
We're going to start this episode with Claire and Alix, who were a little bit... Right now, the plan was the people in the van were going to drive to Claire and Alix, who have the hover cycles, right at the mouth of one of these tunnels to get down into it and hopefully lose any pursuit that might happen in those tunnels. And so, what exactly have you guys been doing, Alix, you and Claire? Have you just been loitering about, sitting on these, making idle chit chat?
Ideally we wouldn't be at the very entrance of the tunnel, maybe a little bit deeper with kind of the motorcycles pushed up and out of the way. Just kind of around waiting for people.
Trying to be as legally parked and hanging around as possible as to not draw attention.
Yeah, pretty much.
So this whole thing probably took somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes, the heist itself. So you and Claire are just sitting there waiting, and she's, sitting side saddle on the hover cycle, having her legs sort of kick off the end, and she seems deep in thought. And she is looking at the laser pistol that she was given by Zuri earlier. They gave you guys some very rudimentary weapons in order to protect yourself because you left most of your weapons on the Phoenix. And she's looking at the holster, and she looks up at you, Alix, and says, Alix?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been in a firefight before?
Yeah. Back on Gal, there was a couple. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Gal, there was that one, but you're helping that man, and Glasgow 5, there was those robots. But have you ever been in a situation with another person?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I want to be able to protect people and my friends, but pointing this at target practice in pointing this at someone who has a story and a life and family, even if they're different than mine. I don't know. I'm worried I won't be able to pull the trigger when it comes down to it.
Yeah, that's a good worry to have. And it's one that I think anybody who has a pistol, laser, otherwise should have that feeling. It's not something to be used wantonly, or, if somebody is excited at the prospect, well, they probably shouldn't have that in the. Well, that reminds me, we actually shouldn't have that. So if you could put that in your pack, that'd be pretty cool. We should we're not obviously in the middle of the city, but we don't want to draw too much attention to it.
Okay. And she takes it and puts it in her bag and has her bag sort of on her lap.
And ideally, it never has to come out of there. Especially if you don't want it to. If it feels like, you have to, then it does. But yeah, there are other ways to do things besides the laser pistol. Sometimes you just kind of run around pulling people out of trucks, making sure that you have an eye on everybody. You, Claire, are uniquely suited for things like that. If you're near somebody who is down, who is in danger, and you want to save them, you don't have to fire. You can make the enemy lose track of them. You can confuse somebody. You can hide them. There are other ways of doing things.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Alix.
Yeah.
And while you guys are having this conversation, you see a couple of silence operatives. These are different than the Breesian Police. They are wearing fully decked out, dark black armor with like the visors and all of that. Very similar to stormtroopers, where every piece of them is absolutely covered. They don't appear to be the higher up elite soldiers that you also saw when you were coming into Breeze, with the parent and the child being ripped apart from each other, probably due to the child being of some psychic persuasion. And you see another figure between the two of them. You only see their back, but they have this long flowing hair and this overcoat, and they're being flanked on either side by these people. And you see Claire, guys are sort of facing each other, sharpen at the three of these people. And what happens next brings a shiver down your spine. You hear a voice. Now then, the teleporter's taken the bait. That horrible voice takes you back through your old memories. You're running, jumping, and diving over vegetation. Your legs hurt from exhaustion. Your chest is on fire, but you can't stop. The pain is more bearable than anything that she would inflict. You have to keep moving. You have to find Father. Her voice pierces through the thunderous pounding of your heart. Trying to run for Father? You wouldn't care if you didn't come back from our little hunt. And I am so bored of hunting bucks. A shot rings out from behind you, and you instinctively dive into the underbrush, but your knee hits a sharp rock. That pain echoes through your mind as you reflexively touch the scar that was created so many years ago. Yes, Miss King. Up. Major King, thank you. I didn't become an officer to be called Miss. Yes, Major King. We followed your instructions, and the teleporter has exhausted themselves retrieving their neutralized colleagues. They even brought their last member of McRaven's cell, who was away during the first raid. It's just a matter of tightening the noose. Excellent.
See to it they're all captured and stay that way this time. We wouldn't want them taking any more pot shots at my dear old dad, now would we? No, ma'am. We'll see to it that they're properly apprehended. Indeed. Well, I leave this in your capable hands, gentlemen. Make sure to cover all the entrances to the tunnels, as they're probably trying to escape into the filth and rabble down there. Yes, ma'am. I hope to hear the good news before I board my grav flyer tonight. Otherwise, I might just have to haggle with Chancellor Austere about the price for a couple of silence operatives' heads. Yes, ma'am. And behind you, you can hear the click-clack of heels on pavement growing louder. Click-clack. Your knee continues to ache in pain. Click-clack. You feel sweat starting to appear on your hands and brow. Click-clack. And you hold your breath. And in that moment, she passes you, and you see her in all her radiant glory. The long, perfectly straight chestnut hair that flows down to her back. Her sharp eyes and nose framed by a triangular face. And those cold, dark brown eyes that can consume entire stars, forever extinguishing their light. There's no mistaking it. It's her, Natalia King. And then she does something that makes your heart drop. She stops. What do you do?
Oh, man.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, geez, Rick.
I mean, I feel like as the walkings happen, I look up and down. They're sealing the tunnel entrances. So
I will say they're not sealing the tunnel entrances. They appear to be putting, at least on the one that you are currently at, that's a couple yards away because you wouldn't want to be right there next to it. They're putting down that strip wire that if tires were to go over it would tear them open and cause flats. And there appear to be the two men that were talking to her flank either sides of the tunnel.
Okay. As she's walking over, and I have kind of the time. Do we have a compad, me and Claire?
Yes, I assumed you guys definitely have two between all of you. I assumed one would be with the getaway car and one would be with you in case something were to happen.
I put the compad in Claire's hands, and I just kind of like, hand shaking, like push her down deeper. And I'm just kind of like, go towards you. Call them, let them know that we're closing. Just go, fuck. Like as like whispered, just like push. Don't run. Just go as nonchalant as you can. And I'm like pushing her to get the fuck out of this situation. And then I bend down and I pretend to like fuck with the grab cycle. Like
Okay.
I'm like
You're
whatever,
hiding
just kind of like bent down, like looking at it, doing that.
Okay. Claire has started to walk away. She's very like jarred by this whole thing. Like, okay. And has started typing on her compad. But you also see that she looks back. Claire does look back at this woman, and she does a thing. And this woman, Natalia Kane, she looks around, and for a split second, you could swear you guys are looking into each other's eyes. You could swear she is seeing you right now. But her eyes show no recognition, almost like she's looking right through you. And as you look over at Claire, you can see that telltale flash behind her eyes as she walks away. And so we go back to the car where we just have an exhausted teleporter, 3 effectively incapacitated psychics, Nona, the driver, and Micah, the gunner?
Yeah, I guess.
And who would have the compad here? I would assume
Most likely me,
Yeah, I was
just
thinking
because
that.
it is my compad. But if it rings while I'm prepared to drive, I'm going to hand it over to Micah because everybody knows you don't text and drive at the same time.
You know,
Speaking of which, the first thing that I'm going to do that I've been waiting a week to do is ask everyone to put on their seatbelts. Because I don't think anyone explicitly did that last time.
no, they did not. The people who are under the effects of hush just absentmindedly follow the instructions. Zuri is obviously having a time right now. Micah may need to help them with that specifically.
I'll help Zuri put on
But
their
everyone
seatbelt.
is strapped in. And as you guys are strapping in, you get a call on the compad. Do you immediately hand this over to Micah?
Immediately hand it to Micah. I say, here, can you deal with this while I drive?
Yeah, I'll pick up.
Then I'm going to begin driving.
You hear on the other side Claire, and she's saying, get out of there. They know. Get out of there.
Okay, so where are you?
We're at the entrance of the tunnel. We're still here, but they have the thing blocked, the tunnel. I don't know. But they know. They're going to tighten the noose. Just go now.
Oh, fuck, they set us up. Okay, no, we can't go to the tunnel. But we've got to get... Are you still with Alix? Claire?
He made me walk away from... There was this person that made... I don't know. Yes, vaguely, and I can see him down the block. He's pretending to work on the hover cycle. Should I go back?
Okay, no, come toward us. How far away are they? Do we know
Pretty
approximately?
damn.
It's
Pretty
like
damn?
a 10-minute drive.
Yeah.
Fuck, okay, that's not close. Okay. Make sure you can still see him. How did you... what happened? Are there people around you? Have they spotted him or you?
There was this woman talking to a couple of operatives. They've put some strip wire to pop tires in front of the tunnel, and they seem to be flanking either end. I don't know if they have other places that they're trying to protect. I don't know if they know it's specifically this one. All I know is there's two people here, and they're trying to block access to this tunnel specifically, and a woman walking away that Alix seems to have known.
All right, Nona. So we're still going in the same direction. We can't go in the tunnels, but we've got to pick them up somewhere around there. Okay.
And continuing to drive in that direction.
Yeah.
Very, very legally.
Okay, maybe at the top end of legal, Nona. Maybe you could push it just a little bit. Okay. All right. Stay safe. We're coming as fast as we can. And yeah, if anything else changes, let us know.
Oh, okay, we'll do.
All right.
And the phone call hangs up. So explicitly, tell me what you guys are doing at this very moment in time. You're just pulling away from where you are now. Just trying to be as stealthy as you possibly
my
can.
intention was to begin driving while they were having that conversation and head in the direction we were intending to head in, because again, as you said, it's a while away. So we were just going to drive in that vague direction while this conversation was happening. It sounds like we're intending to continue there. Obviously, if I overhear any of this, I'm going to start being on just sort of general high alert. Of like, is it
looking for people who might be following you?
Yeah.
Or
well, because Nona has been expecting for a while to need to do a really cool chase scene out of this place. She doesn't think it's cool. That's me. But like, kind of was expecting, shit, everyone jump in the car and then like peel out and like Tokyo drifting and stuff. So she's kind of already primed to be doing that and a little bit confused that we don't have to do that. And now it sounds like we might need to do that, but I don't quite yet know what I'm running from. So we have to find that first.
Okay, so you're calm, collected, you're gathering as much information as you can from the like watching people, seeing if they're like paying extra attention to you. And as you guys start to make your way and you reach the first intersection, you make that first turn, nothing immediately happens. And then what from the sky, it feels like there's this harsh white light coming from what appears to be some kind of small drone. And it is spotlighting directly on your car. And you hear the hum of two grav cycles. And you see men in silence operatives uniforms, one driving and another one on the back of it, wielding some kind of weaponry, starting to drive from you from either end of the intersection. So you've reached a 4-way intersection. You're taking a turn. There's one coming right at you, and there's one coming
directly
from
behind me.
one behind you. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
What do you do?
So, if I had just turned into the intersection, my instinct is to see if we can sort of like turn around and sort of not get person behind you, but it really depends on how close they are. Like, is he right, sort of 4-way, right? Say
Yeah.
I just turned left, right?
Yeah.
If I see this and they're like a while away, such that I've got enough time to do a quick like 3-point turn, like so I can go back into the intersection and go in a different direction. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay. So you're trying to get out of view and then go another direction?
No, it was just literally go in another direction.
Okay. So not towards the tunnel specifically.
Not towards the tunnel specifically. I might still, overall, we're going to be attempting to get towards the tunnels, but I'm assuming this being a city and all, there are multiple routes.
Yeah, so there are multiple routes. I'm a little confused as to what exactly you're doing rather than just driving away faster. You're specifically changing course.
Well, it was my understanding that there was somebody also in front of me.
Yes,
there's someone in front of me coming at me, and there's somebody behind me coming at me. I would like to go perpendicular to that.
Right. You were planning on taking a turn at this intersection anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was after I took the turn. My bad.
No, yes. You were about to turn, and then when all this
and then
happens.
I just floor it.
So you turn the corner and you're flooring.
Yeah. 100%.
Everyone, excluding Alix, roll an initiative check for me.
Why not Alix?
Because Alix is not involved. Alix is...
I'm sorry, it's been forever.
Cycles.
Initiative is
D8.
D8, that's it.
Oh, you're right.
And it's a single D8. Yeah, I never get to use this die.
I almost rolled a D20 and really just...
Plus dexterity?
Yes. Plus dexterity.
Okay, so 4 for me.
5.
All right. This combat is going to be a little bit different than our standard combat. So let me explain the rules a little bit right now. So, Nona, as the driver, you can do all of the standard actions. I guess you could also like stop and get out of the car and stuff like that. I assume
we're not going to do that.
You're trying to get away from them.
Yes.
So there are a couple of special actions that I'm going to tell you right now that specifically the drivers can perform.
I'm going to write these down because I feel like that might be important.
That might be important. And I think that we also have the combat sheets if you want to pass those out. But you can try to make an escape check. So this is going to be similar to...
with the ship, what we did last time.
Where you do a couple of opposed rolls, and you need to effectively win 3 of those opposed rolls on each of these different entities.
Sure.
So right now you have 2 grab cycles and a drone following you.
Right.
You need to do that against these entities in order to fully escape from them. And you can also do what is called evasive maneuvers, which you roll a dex pilot check against 8. And if you do if you do hit that amount, you get to increase your AC or the car's AC for the round by your pilot skill +1. So effectively make you a little bit harder to hit.
And that's for the round?
That is for the round, yes. Until effectively you act next. And for cars... this is a little bit different with the drone. The drone has a different AC, but cars have a standard AC of 10. They're fairly easy to hit, but there is a stat with each of these vehicles that is known as speed, which you'll also be adding as part of these opposed escape checks. Hover cycles are a little bit faster than a ground car. You'd be aware of that. So you have your work cut out for you. But when you are firing from a moving vehicle at another moving vehicle, from the roll that you have, you also subtract the speed of your vehicle and also the speed of the vehicle that you're trying to hit. So if you guys were stationary and they were moving, you'd only subtract their speed. If you were moving against a stationary target, you'd only subtract your speed, but you guys will both be moving. So you'll need to subtract both of them. So it's a little bit harder to hit due to that, but it has just a lower innate AC associated with it. You can also fire at the drone. It currently has the spotlight on you, and allows the grav cycles to more easily keep watch of you. So you would assume that if you could take out the drone, it would be easier for you to escape from the other motorcycles.
Quick question. Because
Yeah.
these guys are in a group, if we're performing those escape actions, you say we need 3 per entity to escape from each of these entities. But if we escape from one of them and the other 2 are still there, can the third one not just rejoin the other 2? Like, what's the use in escaping?
You can think of it like as you guys are continuing to escape, a car pulls out in front of them and they had to stop. And once they had to stop, it would have taken effectively it is a, what's the word? I can't think of the right word. It's kind of like a metaphor right now. It doesn't exactly say like, you were just driving faster than them and they're gone and they can't come up. Like something would have come up. So maybe you made a nice maneuver and they crashed or something like that. Effectively, It has taken them because
they're just gone and they're probably not coming back.
You can change the flavor of exactly why that happens.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't just...
once you lose them, they're not coming back. You have effectively put enough space between them that in order for them to find you again, it would effectively, they would have some other means to do so. And like following up when you guys have stopped or something like that. But in the chase scene itself, they're effectively no longer entities within the fight scene.
Cool.
One other thing, you can either choose to shoot against the vehicle or the drivers, or either of the occupants. There will be one gunner and a driver. They will obviously be harder to hit, but if you get them, it effectively removes actions that those specific entities can take.
Fun.
All right, let's see how this goes. So Nona, you were the first person, and effectively you have flanking on either side of you, a little bit a ways behind you, are 2 grav cycles, each with 2 men on them, and a drone,
right.
up and above with a spotlight down on you guys.
All right. Well, I think that we're gonna start with evasive maneuvers because that sounds like a thing people do.
Okay.
When fleeing things. So I do a Dex pilot check and I need higher than 8, correct?
Yep.
All right, great. Cool.
Also, I will say this is obviously a little bit more freeform. So if you have an action that you feel like you could take that would help you in some way, describe it to me and I'll try and make some roll and something happen on the fly. This is just what I thought about. Yep.
I got a 10.
All right, so you increase your AC by so your pilot skill, which is
I believe 1.
So you increase your AC by 2. So the base AC to hit your car will be 12 now.
Cool.
All right, so this here is that card that I was writing down. So if you want to read out for our listeners real quick what that says.
Sure. Our ground car has got 30 hit points, 10 AC, 0 speed, and 6 armor on it.
Yep. And also to remind you guys, this is just a standard modern car. It's a van, so it's a little bit larger. It has more seating, so it could fit more as many people as you needed. But it's just a standard car. It doesn't have hover capabilities, so it's a little less maneuverable than perhaps a hover cycle would be. But hover cycles, Nona, you'd be familiar with this.
Yeah, one would hope.
Specifically because you have to. One, just are less durable, but also tend to have lower armor because grav vehicles tend to have lower armor because
they need to be light.
They're very finicky. Like if something hits them, it's very possible that it hits a very important advanced component, which will cause more issues in the long run. So a ground car, the standard modern car, is pretty good about taking some dents. It's just a hunk of steel with a combustion engine, but because of the nature of the tech that is involved with grav vehicles, tend to make them a little bit less immediately sturdy. So Nona, you have increased your AC from the 10 into 12. Micah, it is now your turn.
All right. So in this van that we're in, is there like a top hatch in the roof or anything, or not really?
No, there's not a
No?
top hatch, but you can lean
Okay.
out the windows.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're gonna
that-
have to do that.
That is what I'm going to do then.
Passenger
Or
lean.
you can shoot out the back window and just fire out the back if that's something that you want. You'd have to climb over a couple of people. since you're in the
I'm
shotgun.
going to lean out the side, and I'm going to use an on-turn action to summon my telekinetic armory
All right.
and bring out the rifle.
Excellent.
And I'm going to try and take a shot at the drone that's following us with the spotlight.
Excellent. Okay. Roll an attack roll. So Micah
It's been a while. That's a D20, right?
sits up. Yes, it is a D20. Sits up on sort of the door itself and is leaning out, perhaps holding herself in and taking a fire upwards towards the light that you see. And
13.
that's a 13 to hit. But you do subtract. Oh, you don't. You guys have a speed of 0, so you subtract a speed of 0.
Haha.
So you do in fact hit the drone. Roll for damage.
All right. I have 8 damage.
The drone is absolutely vaporized. The light that was shining down on you immediately goes off, and you hear a crash happen behind you as you see that the 2 grav cycles have to both divert their course slightly and go around the wreckage of the drone. It should be a little bit easier to escape their notice now.
Cool.
Sweet.
So that's the drone just
Quick
done.
question, Jeff.
Yo, what's up?
I forget this from last time because I'm a terrible person. Hush
Hush.
is the thing where you can command people. Are they under any drugs actively suppressing their
They can
abilities?
They can only really do very,
Basic things.
very simple basic tasks. Walk here, sit down, eat this.
Why won't you let me have my
Buckle
army,
up.
Jeff? Why won't you let me have my army?
for me. You have to build your own army, Kirsten. I'm not giving you an
working
army.
on it.
I have not rolled initiative checks for Kainon, Freya,
Yeah,
and
this
Isis.
is-
They are just in the vehicle
That's
and
fine.
They are
Can be.
vibing.
they are
Great vibe.
Straight
They're
vibing.
Literally just vibing. Vibe harder.
And now it's the grav cycle's turn, and they're trying to. They will both take pot shots at you guys.
Cool.
So I have to look up if they get any attack bonuses. And all right, first roll is a 16 on the die. So that will be a hit, I believe. For
we
a
got
total
12.
of yeah. So we subtract 2 because of their speed. You don't subtract anything. Oh, it's so nice that you guys have 0 speed, so you don't have to subtract twice. So that 14 does beat your
My 12.
your 12, and they are.
They're having a 12.
And you notice as they start to open fire that these are conventional weaponry. So this is just a regular old combat rifle. And they take a quick burst at you guys and roll one of these dice. That is this one. Yes. That hits you for 8 damage, but you
wow,
immediately
fun.
subtract that 6 from it for a total of 2 damage. So you just hear a
Okay.
ping ping coming off the back of your car.
So we have 28 health now.
Yes, you guys should perhaps keep track of that
Yeah,
on the note
I
card
can
that
do
I
that.
gave you.
I was just gonna write it down in my notes.
Yep. And the second one behind is also going to do a similar thing, just firing at you. And you can tell just from where they're firing, they didn't have a good platform, and they fire off into the sky, and just you don't hear anything come off the back of your car. And that is their turn, which leaves Zuri, who is last and is dealing with some things, and spends their turn just sort of recuperating and pulling out a pistol and rolling down the window, not yet going and firing out, but just gathering themselves. Yeah, rolling down the window.
It's a manual.
It's a manual. This is a really old car, guys.
Hopefully, it doesn't take a whole action to roll down the window. That would be
No,
awkward.
no,
No,
it-
he's
it's-
just, they're
know.
just like,
The-
you know.
I'm kidding around. I know.
You can tell that they're still a little bit in shock about just what's happening, and so it took them around to sort of gather themselves.
Very understandable.
I'm
Maybe they should
surprised
take
they're
some more
helping
time.
at all.
Yeah.
No, sit back down. Shut up.
But you can tell them that on your
No,
turn. Yeah,
Nona doesn't
Nona
care.
is your go again.
Okay.
You've,
Try harder.
You've,
So
you've
I
lost
have
that AC bonus.
yes, because evasive maneuvers has faded. Damn. 2 questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do there seem to be any other like cycles or whatever
Currently,
gathering
it
them, or is
appears
it
to
just
be
those
only
2?
those 2 who are following you guys.
Great. So
And technically, they're 4 guys because there's 2 on each
yes.
cycle.
How far behind us are they?
Probably tens of yards.
Okay.
Probably not 100 yards,
That's
but
pretty far.
like
Okay.
yeah, they're kind of far back. They are starting to encroach a little bit,
All right.
but it's not like they're right up next to you guys.
Cool.
Do you want to perhaps slow down and like bump them? Is that what you're thinking about?
No, I was kind of hoping to wait until they got a little bit closer up onto our tails and then slam on the brakes. See if I can get them to run into us.
There's a firefly maneuver that they used, like the Crazy Ivan or something like that, right?
Oh,
But
yeah.
they effectively stop and then immediately start going the other direction.
Yeah.
I'll try spinning.
That's a neat trick. Yeah, no, but okay, we won't do that. I'm really toss up right now between doing the increase our.
Yeah, sorry. I will say that they over the last turn they did increase they did decrease the distance between you guys.
Yeah.
So they are gaining.
We'll wait. Yeah. Right. But that's different from like the escape things.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm right now between 2 things. Help me out here, Philip. I'm thinking we either continue trying to be dodgy and let y'all shoot the people, or we just try to start escaping now.
I mean, Nona, I think you got to follow your heart. I'm out the window. I don't know.
No, that's completely fair. All right.
I'm fully out the window. I am running.
You know what?
next to
I'm
the
gonna do the maneuvers again.
Okay, so you're gonna try and do more evasive maneuvers. So you're more
evasive maneuvers.
swerving. You're going down sort of
You
side
can't hit me.
streets, and trying to be just generally like annoying to follow and hit.
Yes.
Through a china shop.
Fruit stands flying everywhere.
My cabbages.
How much other traffic is there on this street? Just by the by.
It's not like in New York City.
I did
you're
not manage
having
it that
to
time.
Go like it's not deadlocked. It's pretty late at night. There are definitely some cars around, so there's definitely some swerving in and out. And I think people are just starting to generally see, there's things happening and just getting out of the way. Like, I'm not going to deal with this or whatever is happening here. But it's not congested, but there are a fair number of people around, both pedestrians as well as other vehicles.
Well, they were able to fire guns at us from a little ways away.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't make it.
It could be that they care more about capturing you guys than any collateral damage. That would be, at least in your opinion, on brand
that
for
would
the
not
silence
shock me.
operatives.
Kirsten, did you do it?
Did you do it, Kirsten?
No.
No. Okay.
Sorry, I've
So
said that 3 times already.
that was-
We're sorry.
I know. Sorry.
Micah, it is your go again. You're sitting on the sort of window right now, leaning out.
Yep.
That's dangerous, Micah.
So
It really
I
is.
like to live dangerous.
What happened to the seatbelt?
3 points of contact, Micah.
Damn it.
I didn't say I unbuckled the
OSHA would
seatbelt.
not
Oh, no.
approve.
All right. So quick question, partially like in story and partially mechanically.
Yeah.
Grav cycles.
How the fuck do they work?
Explain to me
Magnets.
the physics.
How do they work?
Do they care about do they have to be on a surface that has any friction / do they count as a ground vehicle?
I
No.
To the rule book.
I see. I'm worried about what you're doing, Miss Telekinetic. I would say that they would count as a ground vehicle. So the difference between a ground vehicle is not necessarily whether it is tired or goes by sort of the grav hovering a little bit off the ground. It's the difference between a flyer like a helicopter or a plane or something like that and something that goes along the ground. So I would say this is a ground vehicle. What are you going to do?
Okay, I would like to use my pressure field. Or no, sorry, slip field, different field entirely.
I see.
And so that's where it comes up because it's like, they're not making contact with the ground, but this says you can use it on ground vehicles for such and such effect. So
I see. There's such a thing as a ground car, which is specifically where you guys are, what you're driving. The tires touch the ground and you propel yourself via friction.
Yeah. So all that this says is if used against a ground vehicle, the driver must make a dex pilot check with a difficulty of so on and so forth.
I'm going to quickly look up a thing. The thing that I'm looking up is effectively, are we Back to the Future in it 2? Back to the Future 2 in it.
Yeah, right. With the hoverboards.
With the hoverboards where effectively it requires some solid matter beneath you in order to propel yourself forward.
You've got power, Mick.
Hovercycles apparently can fly over water. I don't know if that helps. But
there you go. I would say that like an oil slick or something like that, or a slip field itself wouldn't affect them.
It would not.
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough. In that case, I guess I'll just not do that and take a rifle shot at one of them.
All right. Are you shooting at? Well, I guess they're both the same right now. But one, are you shooting at the cycle itself? Or are you shooting at one of the occupants?
I'm gonna shoot at the cycle.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and incapacitate them with the best odds.
Okay.
Great. That's a natural 1 plus 5 is 6.
That's not going to hit.
Yeah.
Darn.
So you take one of your shots, and it's just. Are your shots, are they visual? Like, can you actually see them? Because I know you. Okay, you specifically like being.
I get to choose, but yes.
Yes. Okay.
They actually spell out Micah every time she fires. It's the
fires
name.
a Micah.
Micah.
All right. And you can see, like, you hit a trash can behind them as they continue moving forward.
Or trash can. When will the tragedies end?
My cabbages.
They both will also take shots at you guys against your AC of 10.
Of 10.
I'll just roll them both at the same time. One misses and the other one hits. So again, they're just firing from behind you guys, and like your windows are getting shot out and shattering into the vehicle. And another total of that was completely cosmetic damage.
Okay.
It does not go through the armor. They roll below the armor of 6. So nothing specifically within the against the car itself, but you know, bullet holes are happening and your windows are getting shot out. Zuri looks out and also is going to start taking shots, not looking very good, just kind of looking vaguely sick. They hit one of the pilots. The drivers of the car, and I am going to need to roll a D.
Does Zuri still have their mask on?
Zuri does still have their mask on.
Nice.
They didn't take it off.
God, Zuri, God.
And Zuri takes a shot and actually hits the driver directly in their torso. It appears that the driver is still going towards, but they are not looking good right now.
Was that the same cycle group that Micah fired upon, or the other one?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. I guess.
Yes, the same.
Yeah, because Micah did hit one of them before. No, you hit the great. Yeah,
I
so
didn't.
It effectively doesn't matter, but Zuri is also on that side, and it's easier for them to shoot at that same sort of side. So
That's great.
The driver has taken a hit, and they don't look great from what you can at least see, Micah. And we're at the top of the order again. Nona.
Yes. I think if that is the case, I maybe start doing escape actions from the other undamaged one.
You do them both at the same time.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yep. Yeah. They'll both roll, and depending on the rolls, they may or may not be different.
Let's escape. Let's run. We're real good at that.
Okay.
All right. I'm not immediately seeing the rules to this. What does one do?
So
again?
it is a dex pilot check, and
Yep.
you're going to add your speed, and it's opposed against both of them.
And our speed is 0.
And your speed is 0.
So we're not really going to add anything. All right. 7.
All right. So there was a another 7 and a 3. So you put some actually distance into the undamaged one.
Hooray.
The other one, the driver appears to be enraged by the fact that they just got shot and are able to keep their distance. And they actually, again, because of the passing of round, gained a little bit. So they are probably about 30 yards away, 20 yards, somewhere in between that first grab vehicle and the second one continued at their sort of 50 plus yards. So that was Nona. Micah, you get to take another shot.
Okay, I will do that.
Are you going to take the one that is closer or farther away?
Closer.
Okay. And you're shooting at the vehicle itself?
I'm shooting at the vehicle with a 10.
A 10 total?
10 total, not doing great.
So that subtracts 2 speed because you're firing at them for 8. Their AC is 10, so that misses again.
Damn it.
And the grav cycles, they both take shots at you again.
Cool.
Just continuing to riddle the back of your vehicle. And they're not doing well, but they do continue to try and gain. With effectively, the longer this goes, the closer that they're getting. So we've got the grav cycle with the damaged. They're probably about 10 yards away. The other one is about the 20 to 30 yards away. So they're getting pretty close right now. If you wanted to do something where you stopped briefly and rammed into them, that would be feasible.
If I did that, would I lose my escape token?
Nope.
Oh, cool.
This is more just like kind of tiring them out, and like, again, it's like hit points don't necessarily mean exactly I've gotten hit for this amount of damage every
That's
single
fair.
time. You're not putting this amount of space in between them. You're getting them more and more off balance, being able to eventually like lose them or something like that, pushing them into trash cans or into oncoming traffic or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to push them into oncoming traffic. Also, Zuri's taking another shot. And
Nice Zuri fucking party, my dude.
also hits again.
They've had a
Zuri
rough
is
day.
rolling rocks right now. That was a natural 18.
Damn.
Hits the driver again of the closer vehicle and kills them.
All right.
Oh my god, Zuri, no.
Another hit directly to the torso. You can see the driver just start to slump off to one side as the grav cycle starts to twist and turn and lose its forward momentum, and turns and pitches and flips over with the other silence operative who was firing at you thrown off, and they are out of the fight, which just leaves the undamaged grav cycle, which you've already sort of have maneuvered around.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the top of the round again. Nona, what would you like to do?
I think we're just going to keep trying to escape these people.
All right.
You know, that worked so great the first time. 10.
10 against 9.
Haha.
So you one more of those and they will be gone for good.
Assuming
Well,
Zuri
not gone
doesn't
for
kill
good,
them
but
first.
yeah. Micah, you go
Okay,
next.
shooting at the other cycle. It's a 9 total.
Get better dice.
That's not going to hit.
Yeah.
And the man in the firing position of this grav cycle has seen you multiply take shots at them, and rather than firing at the vehicle itself, as it does not appear to be
working.
they're going to point directly at you, Micah.
Come at me, bro.
And they roll an 8 in total, which I assume does not hit you.
It doesn't.
Just to flex off of your telekinetic armory.
Ooh, a nice breeze.
That leaves Zuri taking another pot shot and just slumping down a little bit because they're not having a great time right now. Dear Lord, Zuri, a natural 20. That hits the driver again.
Can I just have that die? It seems to be doing a lot better.
It's doing pretty well. And they again hit the driver directly in the chest. Man, these NPCs are doing work for you guys, huh?
Mm-hmm. I shot that drone that one time.
And
That was cool.
Nona,
You did. I really liked that drone. That one.
Nona, one more. It is again you for the top of the round.
Got it. We're gonna
Try and escape.
Yeah. We're gonna try a little bit to keep our murder count down, you guys.
Doing your best.
Yeah. Oh, 11.
They also got 11.
Dang it.
So you were unable to. You're trying to just put that extra distance between, but they're able to keep up,
Alright,
and they're also
kill 'em.
around where the last grab cycle met their fate, about 10 yards away. Micah, take your shot.
Okay, relative to us, they're that far away, or is the other grab cycle still like relatively around? Can we see it?
No, the grab cycle is,
Oh, damn it.
is
Relative-
streets back at
relative
this
to us.
point. Like this entire fight scene has been happening as you guys have been driving through the city. You're actually getting pretty close to where the tunnels are, if that is indeed where you want to end up.
I don't think I would leave an area in which one can be sort of like bobbing and weaving and go for the tunnels until we had, given that we've almost lost these people, it seems a little bit silly to
So
then
you-
show them exactly where we're going.
You're just driving around, then trying to lose this, and then are going to head.
Trying to get as close as sort of like be in that area, right? It was like
Uh-huh.
a 10-minute drive. Let's get within like a minute or two away, but then do sweet
Yep.
figure eights around the general area.
All right, Micah, you got a plan?
Okay. I'm getting real sick of not hitting these people. Is there like you're saying like we're going down streets, or there like trash cans or other things?
Yeah,
around?
there's just general detritus and like probably bikes and stuff that you could easily. Well, it depends on what
Well,
you're exactly looking for,
Uh-huh.
but
Yeah, something that's like not tied down. So if there's like a bike that isn't chained up, or like a trash can that's just
yeah.
available.
Well, let's say you found a trash can that you can
All right.
throw.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to grab that with my telekinetic manipulation and try to hit the driver with it,
Specifically, the driver
or
or
you
the,
know,
the car,
let's-
or the hover.
I
cycle
assume
in general.
probably hitting the cycle is gonna throw it off balance enough. So sure, let's aim for the cycle.
How fast can you move something that you're moving?
I just
telepathically?
looked this up, so I can move it at 20 meters per round, but a round is like 6 seconds. Never mind.
What you could do is effectively, rather than throw it at them, pull it in front of them.
Yeah. Okay.
Which how I'll say is you can just do that, and they're going to need to make effectively a check in order to avoid that obstacle that you're putting in the path, or you guys get another escape point.
Okay.
Seem
yeah,
reasonable?
so-
Yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah, so I'll grab like a trash can that we're approaching, and then try and put it in between us and them.
Okay, they're trying to hit an 8, and they got an 8 exactly.
Gosh, darn it.
So you pull a trash can out in front of them, and they're just barely able to zip around it, and they're basically right up against you guys now.
All right, hurry, murder them.
And actually, they're so close right now that they can actually fire at you specifically, Nona,
Oh, okay.
as the
That's cool.
driver. And they are going to do so.
All right.
They rolled a 4.
That does not hit.
So perhaps as they point their gun at you, you do like a little bump or something like that, and the gunfire just goes through the vehicle, not hitting anyone, but not a little too close for comfort. Zuri takes a shot at them, who has just been rolling rocks today. That time is a natural 1.
Okay.
Because
it
they're
was
on the
bound to happen.
It was on the other. They're now on the other side of the car, so they have to turn around and try and see the fire through the vehicle to get to these guys. And as you're doing this, you're coming up on a construction site.
Mhm.
Very, very industrial. It has like those I-beams that are open.
Mhm.
A lot of very large machinery. And can I have you both roll a wisdom nose check for me, please?
It's time to Fantasia your way through this. Like a baby in a construction site. Never touched, always in danger.
The I-beam spins
Yeah,
and they go to the
just in
other
time.
end.
I rolled a 4.
8.
Nona, as you're driving, this is coming up right in front of you. And this is just an unfinished building. Right now, it's just the skeleton of it with those I-beams everywhere. And you look up and see it is now night. It's quite dark, with the moon sort of behind. Yeah. Shush you.
No,
I'm
sorry.
going for an aesthetic.
I'm sorry, I love it. It's a great aesthetic, Jeff. Keep going.
You see a robed figure. Well, now I don't want to say what it is.
You don't get to know.
I'm confused.
You see
Same.
you see a robed figure. You can't make out what exactly they are. They're humanoid in sort of 2 arms, 2 legs, but they have a hood on, and everything seems to be very baggy about their clothing.
And they've killed their whole ninja clan.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna go
It's
for
Tony.
Mickey
He
Mouse
came
and
back for
Kingdom
us.
Hearts.
And you see an I-beam that is just free in front of them. And you see them put their hand out, and all of a sudden that I-beam is coming at you in your direction at 1,000,000 miles a minute. Not exactly. That would probably break the entire goddamn planet. It's coming fast, almost like it came out of a goddamn railgun. And you, in a split second, there's the grav cycle that is driving next to you. And the next second, they're gone. Absolutely obliterated by this I-beam that has just come and flown towards them. And you guys are now effectively out of combat. And when you look up again once to see who is that strange figure, he's vanished without a trace.
You gotta add like this, like the mist. Whoosh.
There's a curtain over the moon. And
In fact, what you see is the figure dropping down, just free falling from where they were perched up. And as they near the ground, just slowly float down until they are behind the fence that is the perimeter of this construction site. And you guys are now out of combat.
Great.
Micah, you didn't see the figure, but you sure as heck saw the I-beam that just absolutely obliterated the grav cycle that was next to you guys.
I almost had it myself. I didn't need help.
So what do you guys do?
I'm going to resume driving at legal speed and head for. No, I'm gonna pretty quickly head towards where Claire was going to be.
So we can actually take a moment and actually go back to what was happening there. So,
so
Claire
Alix
just had that call as she was walking away, and she's not entirely sure where to go. So she's just continued to walk down the street away, and is shooting those backward glances to say like, should I come back? Should I?
I'm like if I'm not being noticed by Natalia, I'm going to like wave her on. Like she has to go to the safe house. She has to go to wherever is good. She needs to get away.
So you want her to go specifically down into the tunnels
I thought
away from you guys?
going out of the tunnel.
No, she's going deeper because the silence operatives are outside of there. Like she is getting out of sight. That's where I want her. I don't want her there.
Okay. So she has gone into the tunnels at your direction. So now it is just you with 2 hover cycles.
And I think immediately after that, there's like a solid like minute of just like fuck, shit, of being under the hover cycle, like thinking about what the fuck to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we have silence operatives on either side of the tunnel entrance. They have a spike strip across the tunnel.
Yep.
And Nat is there.
Nat has left.
Nat has left.
Nat, what you got from their conversation was
deal with this. I'm gonna go
deal with this. I've given you guys all that you need in order to succeed in this. And if you don't succeed in this, I will have your heads. And I'm gonna be getting on to a grav flyer tonight. So make sure I get that good news before I leave.
All right.
So she that's what was happening when she was walking by you. She was leaving those 2.
Okay. Alix is sweating under the bike, taking a little bit. His like immediate reaction is take the revelry, relax. He's already on an upper, so he's like fuck. And then that kind of drug medicine link creates half of a plan, and still under the bike because he doesn't know if Claire affected the silence operatives. I'm going to empty the med kit into my backpack, assuming that the med kit is made out of like cloth, out of like a cotton, something like thick, kind of like that, like a first aid kit kind of deal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the suture thread and needle that's in there. I'm gonna sew the med kit to the loop the thread around like an exposed pipe or anything in the graph cycle, and like stitch the med kit onto there, like letting it trail so that it can hit the ground. And then I'm going to stuff the med kit with my broken compad, the broken bioscanner, and like weigh it down.
Okay.
I'm looking at the silence operatives. They're away. They're looking.
Yeah,
away.
they haven't paid attention. It seems like that they've been going to like checking their comms occasionally, talking to each other, but they haven't paid you any mind.
Be honest, somebody's playing Tetris.
No, they are very
Space Invaders.
they're paying attention to what's going on,
It's like Avengers.
but they don't deem you as a threat or as part of whatever's happening right now.
Okay, and with Nat not there, I'm gonna very slowly get up from below the graph cycle. I'm gonna take a strip of gauze. I'm gonna medical tape it to the throttle. I'm gonna hold the other end, put some medical tape on there, and I'm gonna get on the graph cycle. And we're gonna like point it so that it's just as straight of a shot as I can get out of the tunnel. My thought being the med kit will catch the spike strip and I will drag it behind me as I get the fuck out of there, so that the spike strip is no longer across the tunnel entrance.
Oh.
I see. Okay.
I'm holding the other end of the gauze, and I'm gonna let you know right now, if shit goes bad, the other end has like medical tape on it. I'm just gonna tape the throttle down. I'm gonna dive off of the graph cycle.
Okay.
And that's Alex's like fucking.
That's a pretty good plan.
Okay.
5 minute. Like, what the fuck do I have on me? What can I do? How can I MacGyver my way out of here?
So are you trying to coincide this with when they're coming, or are you just going to try and do this and then deal with the two silence operatives by yourself? Because they obviously will not be happy about the spike strip
the
being gone.
idea is, if I'm gonna kind of count down. I don't have the compad or anything.
Yeah, Claire right now is the one with the combat.
I'm gonna like. I think that the whole setup, like securing the med kit so that it's like well on there with the suture thread and everything's gonna take like 4 or 5 minutes for the whole thing, coupled with the 4 or 5 minutes of panic before everything goes down. Means that the van should be there
soon
by then.
Ish.
If
they haven't been captured or something.
Yeah. So around the time that they should get there, they are not there. They're running kind of late. Alix needs to clear the tunnel. Alix needs to, like, if they can get in, then that's better, because otherwise the van's just going to run in there and they have to deal with the silence operatives. So he's not going to wait for the van to get there. He's going to give it a couple minutes. If the silent operatives hasn't noticed him, he's going to saddle up, and then he's just going to gun the throttle because he does not pilot very well.
Okay, yeah. So I think that this is going to be an interesting. I'm going to have you roll a dexterity. What is the right?
Because at first he just wants to go straight.
Yeah,
if he can keep it as straight as he can, and if he's going to bail into a tree, he's going to jump off. And tape the thing down.
You know, I think it's a dexterity pilot check.
Okay.
I think even though you are going forward, you're trying to do something as you're driving. And I will say, worst comes to worst, if you fail, you are getting off the cycle. The wire is getting dragged with the cycle. It will crash, and you will be pretty close to some very concerned silence operatives.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
Let me
So that's what 2d6.
That is 2d6. Add your dexterity and pilot.
Oh, not good.
Uh-oh.
Even worse. So that is a 3 total.
Woohoo! Oh yeah.
So you go through with all of this, but you do feel you can't quite hold the spike strip with as you go along. So you do need to bail. So you do indeed roll off of the grab cycle. It crashes into a couple of buildings onto the side. Nothing through a window, but like directly into some like heavy material and crashes with a loud thud. But now you are now in between two silence operatives who are looking directly at you and are quite upset.
Yeah, I am like holding on. I'm like, fuck! Ah, shit! Do I take damage from like?
Yeah,
that?
you know what? Give me
Just trying to make your life harder, huh?
Yeah.
I want to say 1d3. So have a d6.
Half a d6.
Rounded down.
That is a 1. Oh, pretty well.
Rounded up, I guess. So
Yeah.
1. So you skin your knee
Cool.
because it was a calculated thing. It wasn't like you're killing yourself here. So and you hear an order bark out. What are you doing?
Fuck, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, I hold up my hands. Sorry, officers. I was on the way to the hospital. I had a bad call. I don't normally have the grav cycle. It's very new, and fuck.
Can you roll a charisma talk check, please?
Okay. Where's my talk? It's all right.
And I'll just describe the scene. Both of them have drawn their weapons. They are not pointing their combat rifles at you, but they each have a revolver that they are now pointing at you, and they are starting to come in as they ask that question to
That
you
was
directly.
a 10.
Okay. And so you get from their demeanor that they don't see you as an immediate threat, just as an idiot who has now almost ruined perhaps an ambush. So they start barking out orders like, get on the ground, put your hands behind your head.
Oh, that's fine. Okay. I kneel down, not quickly, but like, hands up. Yeah, down
All right.
for sure.
So one of them is starting to cuff you specifically, and the other one has gone off to the other side to retrieve the spike tape that you not spike tape. That's a different thing. What is it even called? Razor wire or whatever. The thing that pops tires. To retrieve that and effectively set up their ambush again. In the meantime, the van arrives, I assume, because you were heading exactly where you guys were intending to from before?
Yep.
All right. The van, this is what you see. You see people starting to gather around a crashed grav cycle that appears to have dragged some spike line behind it. I keep thinking of different words rather than calling it the exact same thing. One silence operative starting to untangle that from the wreckage itself, and another where you see Alix has his arms behind his back and is quite clearly being put under arrest by another. Neither of them immediately look up and notice you guys. What do you want to do? You could effectively, if you want to enter combat again, I'm giving you a surprise round.
Alix is like talking the whole time, even as he hears kind of the wheels going up. It's like, officers, there's a patient that needs to undergo emergency surgery. I'm trying to get there as quickly as I can. I'm so sorry. It's just this one person. I took the loss.
Yeah,
and I need to,
he's not engaging. He's very clearly like putting you like shut up and like pushes you to the ground so that your chest is against the pavement, and is obviously very his focus is on you right now, but he's not engaging in what you're saying at all. Nona and Micah, what are you doing right now?
So we've got a situation where one of the officers is at the other bike, and there's also a bunch of people just gathered around it.
Yeah, just general bystanders saying like, oh, there was a big crash. What's going on? So it's just a little bit of like a rubbernecking kind of deal where there's just starting to be a group of people like seeing what's going on.
Okay, so step number 1 is we're not going to run over that guy like I was originally thinking.
Oh, dear Lord.
Dude, you keep putting me in these situations.
All right.
So
Nail, meat, hammer.
I'm definitely going to intend to engage unless Nona like immediately stops me.
No. I think we should fight him.
Okay. So you've already still have the telekinetic armory. What just transpired happened only just minutes ago as you guys arrive here. So you can quickly assume the position again and peek out the window and start firing if you would like.
So
Before we get to as he puts like a knee and I want him to shift his weight off of me, hopefully, I go, "It's General Kane, officer. I'm being hella lifted out of, and you know."
You're name dropping.
Yeah.
And at that, like, as you see the van coming up to sort of confuse them a little bit, the one obviously on the other side of the street does not hear that, but you do immediately get the attention. And the operative says, "What did you just say?" As he turns you over and like no longer is putting his weight on top of you. And so I'm going to give you guys both a surprise round with whatever you want to do. Nona, you could stop the car and take a shot with your laser pistol if that is something that you want to do. But Micah, you can roll first.
okay, yeah. So new initiative.
Yep. Don't roll the initiative just yet. I don't think this is going to...
Yeah, you go first.
Yeah, you go first. You're
All
taking the surprise round, and then they'll act after you.
Okay, so this time I do want to use my slip field underneath them, but intentionally I want to keep it not visible, unlike my norm, because ideally I want to try and make them like trip so that maybe Alix can get out without drawing tons of attention from everybody.
Okay. So one, how large is the slip field? And two, does it only affect enemies? Because if it doesn't, then Alix will also be within the slip field. Granted, Alix is already on the ground.
Yes.
But
Roll away.
So
fully explain to me what is going
Gotcha.
on with this ability.
This ability, it affects up to 10 meters in diameter, which suggests to me that I could make it smaller if I wanted to.
Yep.
And it does only affect enemies. I can choose who it affects.
10 yards.
10 meters.
Well, yeah, 10 meters in diameter is effectively 10
Filthy
yards. Yeah,
American.
sure. Sorry. I'm just
It's pretty big.
I'm just thinking if one side of the street and another side of the street would be within 10 yards of another. And
Are the two of them on different sides of the street?
Yeah. So
I didn't know
the car, the hover cycle crashed to the other side of the street, and one silence operative is dealing with trying to get that wire back, and the other one is currently arresting Alix. So I think there is more than 10
You think
yards
there's more than 10?
between them. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Can't make anybody slip today. It's fine.
It's
you
okay.
can make one person
You made those robots
slip.
slip down the elevator, which was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
That was a little.
You
That
can
was a
make
minute ago.
One person slip.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just do it on the one that's by Alix then, if that's the case.
All right. Okay. And this will also affect Alix then, right?
It will not because I don't want it to, and it doesn't have to.
Oh, all right. So it only affects the silence operative. Do they need to make any saving throw or something?
Yes. They make an evasion saving throw.
They don't make it. So in this moment where they've turned you over, Alix, they've shifted their weight in such a way that means they're slightly off balance. And then Micah is able to put this slip field and they just topple over off to the side of you.
I get up and I book it towards.
Are you
I try
booking
to. I
it
try
into
to
the
like.
tunnel?
No, towards the van.
Okay.
I like kick him in the face as I do it. Probably like step on him. And,
All right. Yeah. Give me a quick strength. There's just strength punch check.
Oh,
I know
no.
it's with your feet, but you punch with your feet.
Sometimes
kind of.
I try to.
That kind of is what a kick is.
That was a 6.
Okay, so you knock him in the head, which seems to daze him a little bit, and it doesn't do any damage. But
No,
he
but
doesn't know what the frick is going on right now, and you start booking it towards the van. Nona, you also get to go.
Yeah. Can I drive up closer, stop, and then shoot? Is that a thing
sure.
that
I'll,
can happen?
I'll allow it.
Okay.
Are you going to shoot at the other guy with the bystanders around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, so the
Freedom
yeah.
fighter.
No, like yeah, I'm gonna go shoot at the guy with the.
Okay.
Do I want to do that?
Do you want to do that? There's a different question
So
between do you want to do that and does Nona want to do that?
The problem is Nona really wants that bike, but that bike might be beyond saving at this point. It did crash into a wall.
It would be repairable from what you see.
Oh, if I want it so bad. But even if it
No,
You
know
have
what?
enough money to buy more. if
I
you
do
need
have
to.
enough money. Okay, you know what? We're gonna leave it. We're gonna go speeding right past the other guy. We're gonna, I'm again picturing kind of U-Haul van. So we're gonna kind of side to Alix so Alix can jump in.
So Zuri hasn't taken their turn, so they would have swung the door open and kind of send their hand out, which I assume Alix you grab and you get pulled in. Yeah, that's
hands. Yeah,
and get pulled into the vehicle. The door gets shut, and I assume you guys start driving into the tunnels.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Is the other bike okay?
the other bike's still there. It's still in the tunnel.
Yeah. Do you
All right,
guys
great.
want to get the other bike? Someone go and get off and hop.
I mean, I was kind of thinking Micah
risk
would.
the other guy obviously seeing what's going on and maybe trying to do something about it. But
It depends on how far down it is. If it's like stopping right at the entrance in like clear view of this guy.
it's a little well. So it was obviously close enough for Alix to have overheard them talking. So I would say it would probably be in immediate eye shot. Are you going to leave the bike?
Character
The
development.
most important question Nona has ever been
Character
asked.
development moment.
I see Nona racked with indecision about her beloved bike, and I'm gonna look out the window and use my last effort to grab it as we're driving away.
Oh my god, my
You're
ear.
grabbing it, or are you
with my telekinetic
powers.
manipulation.
do you have an you're effectively going to be towing it behind
Yeah,
you?
it's lighter than an average motorcycle, right? Like in real life. Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Well, that's kind of what you said earlier. But even if it were a normal motorcycle, I think this would be fine. I can carry up to 400 kilograms,
400
which is
kilograms.
like over 700 pounds.
Ooh,
wait.
that feels close.
Wait, no, sorry. Motorcycles weigh 700 pounds. This is like 800 or something. I'm pretty sure it's enough.
400 kilograms, 880 pounds.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Motorcycles weigh 700
as
pounds.
Nona starts to like do you hear the classical music start to play in the background as she's driving past it and just looking at it like longingly, maybe even touches the window. Micah realizes this and grabs it with her telekinetic ability, and it starts getting dragged behind. Not like dragged, but it's a hover cycle, so it's pulled behind.
Fantastic.
And just joy, an overwhelming sense of joy
So
fills you with
only
Nona.
one casualty. Got it.
And you guys start to drive deeper and deeper into the tunnels.
I point out the tunnel that Claire went down. I sent Claire down that way. It was yeah.
Which would have been probably about 10 minutes at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
And go get Claire. Was Claire heading towards the place we were intending to go anyway?
You guys were just going to split up.
That's
That-
right.
that's
Well,
kind
I
of
thought
what the
they were
plan.
going to go. Originally, the plan was to send the bikes into the tunnels and go back to the hideout. And then the car was going to be a distraction, and I was going to go drive away with it and be like all flashy and like donuts and stuff.
Sure. So you could assume that you would probably try and head towards the hideout then.
All right, cool.
You guys probably would have had to move pretty soon thereafter because they're going, like the police are going to check your known
The
hideouts.
hideout, yeah.
So you guys start driving. It's pretty high up in the tunnels in Breeze, so you can still drive this van down here, and you get to the opening of this little alcove into where the hideout is, and the police tape is still there. The door appears to be closed.
Before we get there, I want to start doing some organic purification and start ridding other people of Hush, because shit went belly up, so it might be nice to have more people.
I'll say at this point that I've turned off my telekinetic armory.
Can you do a wisdom nose check for me, Alix?
Yep. 8.
So you notice a couple of things. You notice a couple of things just from the state of the vehicle that you are in. You haven't really had a chance to talk with these people. You just immediately got pulled in. But you're looking around, and one, you see Zuri, who, due to your medical expertise, you can tell they are suffering from the effects of acute torching. So what you see is not. There's a couple of different ways that this can obviously show itself, generally either through like something physical or mental. This appears to be some form of permanent mental damage that will be happening with them. specifically, but there's one other person that you notice. The black-skinned man that we mentioned before, the completely bald one with this fierce look in his amber eyes, even though that he's under the effects of hush.
He's got resting glare face.
Correct.
Yeah. On his exposed skin, he has the myriad of scars, which Micah, you know, is from some time that he spent as a prisoner of war at an Ostian camp of some kind. Alix, you recognize this person. This is someone that you've seen from your time that you spent on Orisiame. And you continue with this organic purification. Who do you go for first? There's Kainan, who is the black man that I just described. There is Isis, who has the chrome-plated prosthesis, the one that originally you guys were going to use this ability on because she was going to drive one of the hover cycles. And the pale woman with sharp features, who is Freya. Do you go in any particular order? Or,
The two women first. Let's say Isis and Freya, and then Kainan probably the very last. Yeah.
Okay. And so this probably takes some time, and you're wrapping it up with Kainan as you guys get to the hideout.
Did we get Claire?
You haven't seen Claire.
Oh no.
You figured that she would have gone to the hideout. That's where the where you guys were told to meet her up. And you open the door to gather yourselves and ready yourself for the next plan. And you look around and it's empty. And that is where we're going to end today's episode.
No.
Fair.
We did not lose Claire. Dang.
So a lot of things happened there.
Yeah.
My bike!
Minus one bike.
Minus one bike. I wrote it down. Also, there is the fact that we're probably going to have to repaint this one because riding around on a bike that looks exactly the same as the one with flames on them.
No. Did you guys put flames on them?
You put flames on.
I 100% made flames on them. Let's go bring that team.
Damn fuck. So I forgot to mention, you guys all level up.
Wow.
Give us back our daughter.
To level 4. No, she's mine.
For my level up.
I want Claire back. All right.
Cut the recording.
That's it.
I'm mad at myself
back my
for forgetting to
space
announce
daughter.
that.